His bathroom door slammed so hard it echoed through the empty hallway of the restaurant. "You think wearing a fake smile makes you good at your job?" the manager hissed, his voice dripping with venom. The young waitress stood frozen by the sink, clutching a wet towel, her trembling hands revealing more than words ever could. Tears streamed down her face, yet she stayed silent. She had learned that in this world, silence often hurt less than begging. But that silence was about to end. Because just outside the door, a man in uniform, her husband, a decorated Navy SEAL, had heard everything. Hey there, friends, before the story unfolds, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below if you believe that kindness always wins, no matter the circumstance. Your support helps Whispers of Kindness keep bringing real, emotional stories to life. Story. The restaurant was called Riverside Ember, a cozy yet upscale spot in the heart of a bustling city. For most people, it was just another Friday night, laughter at the tables, clinking glasses, the soft hum of jazz playing beneath conversations. But for Lily Matthews, every shift felt like walking through a storm she couldn't escape. She had been working there for 3 months, long enough to know the rhythm of the kitchen, the weight of each tray, and the sting of her manager's cruel remarks. His name was Evan Shaw, a man whose smile could charm customers but whose words could cut through anyone who worked beneath him. Lily was never late, never careless, never rude, yet Evan always found something to scold her for. Her hair wasn't tied professionally enough. Her smile looked fake. Her uniform was too wrinkled. The truth was simpler. Evan didn't like that Lily didn't flirt back. He didn't like that she had dignity, that she came to work quietly, did her job, and ignored his lingering eyes. She was small in stature but carried herself with a quiet strength. What no one at Riverside Ember knew was that Lily had once been the wife of a soldier, still was, but her husband had been deployed for months. She rarely spoke about him. To most of her coworkers, she was just a sweet girl trying to make ends meet. But behind those gentle eyes lived the spirit of someone who had endured sleepless nights, long-distance calls, and the haunting fear of losing the man she loved to war. That Friday night was supposed to be ordinary. The dinner rush had just ended, and Lily had gone to the back to clean up the service area. She was tired, the kind of tired that seeps into your bones. Just as she leaned over the sink to wash her hands, the bathroom door burst open. Evan stepped in, his face twisted in irritation. "What did I say about the glasses, Lily?" he barked. She turned, startled. I cleaned them twice, sir. Maybe one just had a..." "Excuses, that's all you ever have," he snapped, stepping closer. "You think I don't notice how clumsy you are? You think this is some charity where we keep you around out of pity?" She froze, her throat tightened as she tried to hold back tears. "I'm sorry, sir. I'll double-check everything." But Evan wasn't done. He stepped even closer, his breath hot and bitter. "You think sorry fixes incompetence. You're lucky I haven't fired you already. If this was my choice, you'd be gone tonight. But you keep batting those innocent eyes at the owner and somehow you stay." Her heart cracked at his words. Humiliation flooded her chest like fire. "Please, Mr. Shaw," she whispered, her voice shaking. "I just want to do my job." Evan laughed, low and cruel. "Then start acting like you deserve it." He grabbed a towel from the counter and threw it at her. It hit her shoulder, sliding to the floor. "Clean that up," he said coldly. "Maybe when your husband finally comes back, you can tell him you learned how to obey." He turned and stormed out, unaware that a tall man in civilian clothes had just stepped out of the nearby hallway. Jason Matthews had come home 2 days early from his deployment. A Navy SEAL for 8 years, Jason had seen chaos and cruelty in every form. He had learned to stay calm in the face of conflict, to lead with discipline. But when he heard Evan's voice echoing through that hallway, cruel, demeaning, laced with something darker, he felt a kind of fury he hadn't felt in years. He waited until Evan left, his boots silent against the floor. Then he walked into the bathroom. Lily was kneeling, picking up the towel with trembling hands. She froze when she saw him, then her eyes widened. "Jason," she whispered, her voice breaking. He crossed the space in 2 strides and dropped to his knees beside her. "Hey," he murmured, pulling her into his arms. "Hey, I'm here, you're okay." The dam broke. She sobbed into his chest, her body shaking with weeks, no, months of exhaustion and pain. "I didn't know you were back," she gasped. "I wanted to surprise you," he said softly, then his voice hardened. "But I didn't expect this." Her eyes flicked toward the door. "Please, Jason, just leave it. He's my boss. I can't lose this job." Jason took a deep breath, his jaw tightening. No one talks to you like that, not while I'm breathing." He stood, his entire presence shifting. The calm husband melted away, replaced by the soldier. His eyes darkened, not with rage but with purpose. He found Evan near the bar, talking to another server. Jason walked up behind him and said in a low, steady tone, "You the manager here?" Evan turned, annoyed. "Who's asking?" "Jason Matthews," he said, his voice cold as steel. "The husband of the woman you just humiliated." Evan blinked, caught off guard. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe she me's." Jason stepped closer, the air between them thick with quiet danger. "You don't get to talk about her. You don't get to touch her, and you don't get to belittle her ever again." Evan scoffed, trying to regain control. "Listen, sir, this is a workplace issue. You can't just come in here and—" Jason leaned in, his voice low enough for only Evan to hear. "I've stared down men who had the power to end my life. Don't test how calm I can stay when it comes to protecting my wife." The words weren't shouted, but they hit harder than any threat could. Then Jason looked around the room, his voice rising just enough. "Anyone here ever seen Lily treat a customer badly? Anyone seen her be rude, lazy, or disrespectful?" The restaurant fell silent. A few coworkers shook their heads. Someone whispered, "She's the nicest one here." Jason nodded slowly. "Good, then maybe this place should start treating her that way." Evan stood frozen, his confidence shattered. The owner, a quiet man who had overheard everything, stepped out from his office, his expression unreadable. "Evan," the owner said firmly, "my office now." Evan's face turned pale as he disappeared behind the door. Jason turned to Lily, who stood by the hallway, her eyes wide with shock and tears. "Let's go home," he said gently. "You don't need this place." Friends, if this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness. It means the world to me and helps keep these real, heartfelt stories alive. That night back at their small apartment, Lily sat on the couch, staring at the cup of tea Jason had made for her. The rain outside tapped gently against the window. "I feel weak," she whispered, "like I should have stood up for myself." Jason shook his head and took her hands in his. "You weren't weak. You were surviving. There's a difference. Sometimes strength isn't in shouting, it's in holding yourself together when the world tries to break you." Her eyes filled again, not with sorrow this time, but with something brighter, hope. She leaned into him, and for the first time in a long time she felt safe. A few days later, Lily got a call from the restaurant's owner. He apologized genuinely and offered her Evan's old position. She hesitated, but Jason squeezed her hand and said, "Take it. You'll make it a place people are proud to work in." And she did. Months later, the Riverside Ember wasn't known for its food. It was known for its kindness. The kind that spread quietly, one shift, one customer, one heart at a time. Because sometimes all it takes to change a place or a life is standing up once for the right reason. And that's what love does best.